Okay. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to talk about Aliens of the Deep. Aliens of the Deep is a 2005 documentary theatrical release. It is directed by James Cameron and Stephen Quale, cinematography by James Cameron and Vince Pace, editing by Matthew Kregor, Ed W. Marsh, and Fiona Wight, and the music is by Ji-hun Hwang. This made $9 million at the box office and has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, come on. I'd say besides the Jake cam that they were still using from Titanic, the visuals were even better. The cameras they had hooked up to the actual divers, the actual like subs, were so incredible. Some of the images we got were ridiculous. They were so stunning. And the Jake cam was fine. The Jake cam's like a little pixely, a little meh, but it was still fun to see Jake back from the Titanic movie we watched, in whatever that one was. Into the Deep? What was that one? Didn't that also have Deep in the title? Maybe I'm just stuck on Aliens of the Deep. No matter what, visuals, stunning. So the music really only stood out right at the beginning when it was like showing the title. It was so ominous and creepy, and then it just like completely shifted gears into like happy, beautiful, sunny music to fit what they were talking about. The last movie we watched like this, with James Cameron doing a documentary of diving, they were specifically looking at the Titanic wreck, where this was more about the ocean. We were looking at the Marianas Trench, both in the Atlantic and in the Pacific. In the Atlantic, it's not as far down. It was like 850 meters, where in the Pacific, it was like 3,500 meters, so it was much farther down. This is really James Cameron teams up with NASA and marine biologists, experts, to discover the extreme conditions at the Marianas Trench at the bottom of the ocean, because this is where we have all those tubes of extremely hot water coming out, and all the like volcanic activity and everything, but there are still creatures like fish and sea creatures living down there, and what they can do to kind of study that to hypothesize what kind of life might be possible on other water-bearing planets or moons. So they went down in the Atlantic with 4 different divers, which was like a huge thing. It's never been done before, but their plan was 40 dives at 10 different sites, both in the Atlantic, like in the Atlantic and Pacific, like I mentioned. They took 2 giant ships, and they had specifically chosen a ship because of the A-frame it had, and then the A-frame broke like before they could even do their first dive, and they had to, improvise, adapt, and overcome that scenario. The ocean is insane. I love anything about the ocean. Anytime like Blue Planet or any documentary series like that does like episodes on the ocean, especially like the deep, yes, I want that in my brain, in my eyeballs, in my skull, because it's so fascinating to me. I think it's so crazy that we know a little bit more about space than we might even know about the bottom of our freaking ocean, because we can look out at space, but we can't necessarily like super look at the bottom of the ocean. It's so dark, so we gotta like explore it, which is so crazy. And it's insane to me that they're like animals living by these like 750 degree tube vent things, and that the black smoke coming out is all this chemical, and that they're not doing photosynthesis, they're doing chemosynthesis, which is just crazy. And just like, oh my god, the creatures that live down there are so insane and so stunning, and just like, wow. And like, some of the stuff they said where it was like, this hasn't seen sunlight since like 1 billion years ago, or whatever else. I was just like geeking out. So I love stuff like this. Also, there were so many women in this movie, a ton of women experts in the marine biologists, NASA, seismologists, like so many women experts, and I was like, we stand. Bring in the women experts. So I loved seeing that. And then just overall, this was super entertaining. It didn't have that moment in the Titanic one where like Jake and Elwood were trying to save Jake and Elwood, and I was at the edge of my seat. I was freaking out, and then they came out and it was 9/11 and like all that kind of stuff. So like, it didn't have that kind of arc going for it, but this was very interesting, and I was never bored. I was glued to the screen, learning about the different creatures at the bottom, what they might be studying, why they might need like a sample of this thing, or what they could learn about this, and I could have kept watching. They could have like explained even more to me, and I would have been like, okay. I thought it was a very, very interesting and very well done. That's everything I have for Aliens of the Deep. My final rating is 7 fish. Those 2 worm things out of 10. Or until the movie count it. Pterodactyl and Crag Hunt are still the same. If you want to keep up with movie watching, follow me on Instagram, Twitter. You'll find out what movie I'm watching when I put up videos every Monday, Friday, sometimes Wednesday. Join Patreon. Got a tier starting at just $1 where you get every video a week early, and you get a coupon code for merch. Also, tiers above that, you get like daily trivia and monthly podcasts and monthly postcards and lots of bonus content, live streams, all that fun stuff. So head on over there, okay? Because this is a good time. And then, yeah, I'd say buy merch. Merch is the best. I wore dark navy blue because Into the Deep, you know, it is the deep. And, yeah. Until next time, come like, sorry, but I'm not in charge of your life. You are, so do you. And always be willing to learn. You don't know everything. There's no way. So be humble and always be willing to learn. That's it, bro. I'm out.